Urvish, what do you think are the key components to be looked and stressed upon when considering cybersecurity solutions for a business?
So see, what I personally recommend is your uniformed identity. Okay, see the employee once he's onboarded in the system. Okay, he may be given the multiple IDs, maybe one ID for SAP, maybe one ID for Active Directory, and so on and so forth. But it's very important, for the cybersecurity professional to take care of the privileged identities, because they really have a golden pass, and right, if you have a golden or the platinum pass, you can roam around anywhere in the premises, right? So that's something.
You'll be the most targeted person as well.
Absolutely, because if you have a golden ticket, right, and then people know, right, who is the administrator, who is ADM hyphen something something, right? So obviously they will be targeting those identities, and if you have, say, weak password or whatever, it will be compromised. So the solution per se, to answer your question, the privileged identity and access management is something I would emphasize. The second emphasis, I would again come back on protecting the endpoints. Why? Because today you may be having the O365 services, which is completely a SaaS-based solution, which is on the Microsoft. Yeah. However, you are using it from multiple places. You are using from probably your organization given laptop, which may be protected. If it is required, you may be using it from your mobile phone, maybe Android or maybe iOS platform. Is it restricted? Maybe, may not be. Maybe if your laptop battery is drained, you may be using your son's or your spouse's laptop to connect again to the resources, right? So that is also not restricted or protected by the organization, right? So having the NAC solution or the network access control would also be a good idea, because these days you are sitting at the corporate office, but there are units, there are offices spread across the globe, right? True. And you may not have the visibility, despite of having an IT person there, you may not have a visibility if somebody is getting the 8-port unmanaged switch, put it below the desk and connecting multiple machines, right? True. How do you restrict it? Because it's again a kind of shadow ID, I would say, a shadow IT, I would say, right? If somebody has connected with that unmanaged switch, which you are not able to visualize from the center, you are probably inviting the trouble, right? So probably let us stop something which is being introduced in the network. Maybe I have a posture check. So NAC is another solution which I would kind of recommend. So in a nutshell, I would say the endpoint detection, EDR, would be a good idea. Identity and access management, including your privileged identities, and the third one is the NAC solution is something I would definitely opt for.
And would single sign-on, would that solution also?
A very, very, very relevant question. I said 3 times why very, 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 because imagine you have come or you're starting for the day, right? You have turned on your laptop. What you would enter very first is maybe a BitLocker password. Okay, so maybe you have encrypted your hard drive, so you are presented with a BitLocker password. You enter the BitLocker password. Now you are presented with a Windows password. It may not be the same, right? Okay, so you have again entered the Windows password. Now you have kind of presented with the Windows screen. Now you will be opening email. Maybe if it is not single sign-on, you will have to again enter another password. Okay, let's move further. You want to see the news, right? So you have opened the browser. You may have another password, right? And if you are using SAP or the ERP solution, maybe for a BW you have another password. Maybe for GRC tool you have another password. Imagine the kind of 6 to 7 passwords if you are presenting the user with. Obviously user have no choice than entering, right? But look at the end user experience and look at the frustration which goes in. Again, we have not touched on a several component, like if you want to download your payslip and if the solution is outsourced, and if it is not integrated, they may have another password. If you want to say travel, okay, and you want to book your ticket, if it is again not integrated with your Active Directory, another password. True. Having so many passwords as a human human nature, and I've been an auditor also during my career, and when you walk around the plant, okay, you lift the keyboard and on the back of the keyboard you see conveniently password is written, user ID and password is written conveniently, and you see the post-it on the monitor. Conveniently it has a password, and the password will be November at 2021. Yeah. Ridiculous, right? And users are not at fault, because you do not have a single sign-on facility enabled for your organization. Naturally you would have multiple passwords. take your own example. Okay, you may have an account in Citibank, you may have an account in Standard Chartered, you may have an account in, say, Bank of America. Naturally, they are not single sign-on. Obviously, you will have to have a different password. What do? Have you written your password somewhere?
Yeah.
Have to.
True.
Have to, because those passwords are complex in nature, right? So obviously, it is not possible for a person to remember all of them. Most of the people do the mistake is they write in the SMS and they put it as a draft.
Yeah.
A big mistake. Why? Because if your mobile is stolen, if it is compromised, the person who is thief, they have an access to your. In fact, I can quote one example. Okay, in fact, it had come in the news. There was a jogger, who, and if I am not mistaken, that example is of Mumbai itself. What happened that the jogger, as per the regular practice, he parked his car. Obviously, he was carrying his mobile phone and the wallet, and he kept in the car because it's inconvenient for the jogger to have and run together. When he came back, he saw that the car glass was broken, and the mobile and the wallet both were vanished. Okay. Obviously, he went to a police station. Up to this time, he wasn't aware that what damage it has caused already. Okay. So by afternoon, he called the bank to have the card and everything getting blocked. And he happened to ask, what is the balance in my account? 5,000 rupees only.
Right.
He was shocked. And why it happened? Because if I am a thief, I have his card. I went to the ATM. Okay. And these days I can withdraw the money without PIN by OTP.
Right.
Okay. I entered OTP. I had his mobile also. So I got OTP on the mobile. Obviously, I withdrew the money. I can carry out transactions also, right? And since that gentleman was not carrying a mobile with him, he wasn't aware that these transactions are happening. Obviously, I would not open my laptop and look at my emails, because when you have some transaction, you get an email also, you get an SMS also. But I don't have mobile phone, right? Because it's stolen. By the time he realized, there was a massive damage, and why it happened again? Because both the things were stolen together. Now, coming back to the original question of your SSO, it will be always a good idea to have an SSO, but remember, having an SSO is luxury or it's a convenience, but if it is not with the multi-factor authentication, it could be a threat also.
Right.
Today, more and more your outsourced employees have an access to your critical devices like your perimeter firewall or whatever maybe the critical devices you have. If it is not multi-factor authenticated enabled, and if his password is compromised, imagine the kind of damage it may cause, right? So
and if that person happens to be a golden user, then I think you are.
Then only Lord will save you.
True. Going forward from there, talking about cybersecurity challenges in general, right? What do you think are the challenges that the next 3 to 5 years we can probably expect those kind of challenges?
Roshan, I would say for the advanced companies that 3 to 5 years is today.
Oh.
Okay. And the more and more demand from the business is coming on the digitization journey. Okay. The businesses wants more and more quick solution.
Right.
And this quick solution can be done by what? By having a digitized solution. Okay. And obviously you cannot build those digitized solution on your own. You have to rely on some party, maybe on a cloud, maybe on a cloud provider, or maybe someone else. Okay.
Right.
So digitization is coming a big way, which is obviously could be a cause of concern. Second thing is Industry 4.0. Okay, your manufacturing industries, right? Maybe if you have a boiler, okay, you have the kiln for making a cement, or maybe you have a boiler for your power generation plant. Okay, these things are vulnerable also. Why? Because if they are compromised, imagine if somebody is changing the RPM of your boiler, and if it bursts.
True.
How much human life can be of damage, or how much material value can be of damage, right? So and why it is a threat now? Because those are getting connected. So the demand from the business is coming that I want to have a predictive analysis. When I say the predictive analysis, say for example, last year in this temperature, my yield, my output of this XYZ product was say 5 metric ton. Okay, it was reduced. Why? Because the temperature outside was increased by 5 degrees Celsius. So I would like to have the predictive analysis this year also.
Right.
And this predictive analysis can be achieved only when I have a data from the manufacturing side, and also to run on some, maybe to churn some data, to run some comparative analysis. Because if today the weather is going to be this much, I should probably increase my parameters in my manufacturing system, which will give me the yield of 7% instead of 5%, which I received last year, right? So those thoughts are coming up actually, and because of which the IoT solutions are coming up. A lot of the Internet of Things solutions are coming up. Everything is connected, right? So protecting those it is again a challenge. Let me give an example. One more example. Okay, one of my friends is working with a large transport company in US. Now their main job, and they have a lot of truck as a fleet, to transport the good from one location to another location.
Right.
The business is to just ship to get the material from here and there, and obviously what they're using primarily, they're using trucks. Now if you are owning say 300,000 trucks, or maybe 300 trucks, you have to ensure that these trucks are always up and running and on the road, right? And when the most wear and tear part of the truck is tire, right? So if you get the predictive analysis that this tire is going to be in a problem after 3 months, okay, and if I do not have the predictive analysis and there is actually a breakdown, imagine the truck will be out of probably the business for half a day,
right?
Okay, but what this company or the solution is, that there are sensors on the truck tires, which is sending the notification to the driver well in advance, 2 months in advance, that hey, your tires are going to be torn, okay, because of your driving conditions, maybe your weather conditions, or maybe your road conditions. So better you report to the nearest facility, which is so and so, in next week, and get your tires replaced proactively. You see that?
Sure.
So right, so if I do it proactively, probably I have only 1 hour of a downtime, and then my truck is again back on the fleet, and I'm continuing to have a business. That is happening these days, and and having those sensors again connecting back to my data center, it needs to have some secure connectivity.
Right.
So that's something which is coming up, or as a challenge, I would say, in coming years. So 3-4 years is no. Today is something is coming.
Yeah, I think you have to prepare right now.
Yep.
For everything. Interesting. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights on the cybersecurity industry. It's been a real insightful one for me as well.
My pleasure, Roshan.